Okay, here I am. I'm just trying to show you guys some headshot editing. I will try to chop this up afterwards and make it clean. So she already looks great. Honestly, there's just a couple things that look out of place. I don't know what's going on with her necklace down here, but we're just gonna do a quick, maybe 10 minutes of editing to see if we can improve the overall look here of this photo. So first thing we gotta do is remove whatever that is on her necklace and try to make it look like it's still normal. So that pretty much eliminates it. It looks like the necklace is a little bit off. Make it look like a chain, I guess. It's going that way, and then get rid of the hair. So that probably looks pretty authentic to me. Okay, cool. And then let's look for some little tiny blemishes, because she doesn't got that many. Get rid of these micro blemishes, you even call them that. Don't want to get rid of too many, because honestly, the fact that she looks natural and still good is obviously a plus. You do not have to make her look plastic. Just that, you know, we're gonna get rid of like this sunspot on her nose, or just make it a little bit more blended. Not too much though, just kind of blending out these little tiny areas where I'm gonna leave that dot there. Looks brilliant. Amazing. Okay, all these little guys here. And I can quickly talk about the layers. If you look over here at the layers, I put these all in action, but I just made a layer on top of the layer that's exactly the same. And if I ever want to bring anything back, I can just click off that layer to bring it back. I also made a curves layer that doesn't have anything, but here, if you want to look at that, it looks like we have some data here in the brights, and then we want to bring that back down to the dark, and that can, so that's going to make it look a little bit more AI, a little bit more plastic, and we can put a hint of that in. But she already looks amazing. Sometimes you just toggle back and forth, and that brightens it up, but I don't know if that's really adding anything, because her texture looks really amazing. We don't want to get rid of that texture, so I'm going to pull that down just a little bit. Oops, it's off. A little bit, so we still see the texture. Maybe, see, it's like really got this photo right where we want it, where like a lot of the straight line is getting most of the data. It's saying that if you just add a tiny bit here, we'll get more of, probably about right here, we're going to get more of a sense of contrast. That's what it means. If you kind of follow this line and get as much of it in as you can, you will get that area here, so maybe even more like this, where you get just more contrast. So you can up the contrast, and you want to try and get as much contrast you can without losing detail. So we'll probably get the tip of this. See, that's where we start clipping detail, and we clip this detail here. So you notice like you're cutting things and you're cutting into the blacks and stuff like that, and you really don't want to do that. But you could do this as a curves adjustment, honestly. So that could punch up the image a lot. See how much that punches the image? So it's just like, she's just like bursting off the page. So I mean, I'm gonna say that's too much. We want it to look a little bit more natural than that. Get that back in, and then don't overdo her skin tone, so she still looks natural. And we're just gonna keep playing with that until we get something, probably somewhere around there. So now we really are getting her to pop out as much as possible. You know, it's just a little bit of fogginess going away. It adds a little bit of too much color, so all we have to do is kind of pull that down, maybe 6 points of saturation here, and then we can look at the before and after. And so we're just adding a little bit of punch in there. Very good. And then what I also want to do is, like, I feel like her blush is a little strong, so I just want to take out like the color on her nose here. which looks natural, so we're not going to take it all the way out. And then some of the color down here. It looks like there's just a little bit too much color in this area, maybe. And so all I'm going to do is circle the areas that look like they have color, right? Get those going. And looks like this goes all the way down there. And then it's okay if you go into the black because that's not really going to have to do anything if we get rid of that. And then I'm going to, my hotkey is also like the Loom hotkey. I don't know why. So we just want to feather it. Select feather. And we want to feather this by about something like 45 pixels to the size of this image. And so it's going to blur the edges. And then hopefully this next one is not a hot. Okay, so Loom uses the same hotkeys that I use for Photoshop, which is unfortunate. So we have to do this by hand. Okay, so modify. No, we want layer, new adjustment layer, curves. Okay, we just call it curves. We are just getting her cheeks, the part that looks a little bit too much, and we're going to lower the contrast there just a little bit. And I don't know. See, it looks good with the red cheeks, so I'm not going to lower it too much. Just a tiny bit of, get rid of a little bit of the color because it just looks a little bit too intense. So I'm just going to keep playing with it until it looks very natural. And so now that we added the contrast and we took down the cheeks just a little bit, it doesn't look like the contrast is like really overdoing it. So we want something that looks really, really poppy, stands out from like, you know, in a thumbnail section, it stands out a lot. And then the other thing is it's just the bottom half of her face here. It looks a little bit darker than the top half. So we're going to do another adjustment where we're just going to circle, and I don't want just a couple dark parts of her nose. I kind of want the little divot there because that's part of her thing. And then we are going to do that again. Oh, we are going to do select, modify, feather. Again, it's a hotkey, but my hotkey is the same as Loom uses. And then we're going to go layer, new adjustment layer, curves, and there we go. And we are going to brighten up the bottom part of her face. A little bit there so it kind of balances and looks all that. Now, the other thing that is it's just a little bit color-wise. It's just a little bit more tan than the rest of her face. So I'm just going to add a little bit of blue because that'll eliminate the yellowish tones of the bottom half of her face to kind of balance that out. Okay, makes her cheeks very red. I'm just going to do half as much. There we go. And look at it before and after. And so we're just taking out, oh, that's my mistake. I'm going to go that. Say that I overdid the blue, and we're still going to take that down just to balance and match her forehead because her forehead had some yellow tones in there. So look at that again. Now I'm seeing balance. Now her face is not totally even, but that's actually a great thing because now it looks more real. I could make it just absolutely like plastic, but gosh, if you want that, you can just get an AI headshot. There's no reason for it. Why not give her texture and why not give her herself when she already looks amazing? And then it also, what that does is if you don't get rid of too much texture, it just gives her, I don't know, a sense of realness, and it's gonna work better than a shot that just looks like, you know, it was run through a filter. So a computer's got rid of every single one of her pores. And all I'm doing is I'm just taking out a couple of deeper ones here, but I want to leave some of that texture in so that she still feels like herself when she goes in because she's gorgeous. There's no reason for her not to get a role because she's not good looking enough, right? But at the same time, we do want it to like that. Just the little texture that she has, we want it to feel like that when she walks in the room. So I'm not going to get rid of all the texture on her face. Right? I say that as I get rid of all the texture on her face. But no, I'm going to leave most of it. I'm going to try not to touch some parts of her face so that it does blend well. I'm just going to try and get rid of a couple things. And then the hair. And if you look at, I'm trying to look at the structure of her face, and I don't want to go over that or blur it too much, because if you really go over this, it's going to start to get blurry. You want some sharper contrast lines still going through her face. And see how this starts to get blurry because of how much I touched it? I'm gonna look at before and after. Oh, it's kind of the way it was, but when I brightened it up, it took away, it's taking away some of her bone structure here. Look at this. Look at this. Right here, it's taking away some of her bone structure, which you just don't want that to happen. So we're gonna see what we can do to bring that back. And it might be just, honestly, just adding it back with painting it back in. So all I'm gonna do is look at her face, grab a paintbrush, black, and then it's at a flow of 1%. And we're just gonna add that bone structure back in. That seems to be disappearing as I take the texture out. And then I did a little bit too much. We're gonna kind of get that off. There it is. There. I don't think I'm changing the shape of her jaw too much. It does look like, because it's lighter, I pop this out more. So there. So that's probably looks a little bit more accurate. Let's check it. Yeah. So that kind of pulled her jaw back in, and we can kind of do the same thing on this side. Just kind of give it a little bit of shape there. All right, very good. And then up here, it looks like brighter than the sides. I don't know why that is, but we're just gonna kind of even that out. And then it looks a little darker here. We're gonna even that out, and then we're gonna bring that just a little bit of magic in there. There we go. So I am changing the way the shadow is on her. Like, I feel like her cheekbones are a little higher. So we're gonna add that back in because I do want the color to match, but I want her cheekbones to still be there. So, oof, that's too much. Too much cheekbone. There we go, that's probably enough. Whoops, go back. There we go. There we go. Okay, and then I feel like I took a little bit too much color out here, so we're losing her nose. Paint that back in and get her a little bit more. So if you just darken this a little bit, her eyes will pop a little bit more. And then I'm looking at before and after, and if it starts to be that I like the before better, it's like if I see her eyes more in the before, which she kind of did, then that is a problem. So I think I'm going to take off the color here, the extra color there. And that gives her more shape. I'm going to leave the blue. I don't want the, wait, what's going on? I should be seeing something change. There we go. There, see? That's giving her shape to her face. That's just too much color. So there's a magic middle ground right there. Let's look at that. Okay, so now, okay, which one's the after? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, it looks too, I think that looks too done. We take that off and we take this off. I don't even remember what that was. Oh yeah, look at before and after. Oh, it might be that, that's too done. Okay, so I like that. Is that an improvement? That's the question. I don't think it is. You know, a lot of times I do something and I don't see the improvement, so I just go back. So I kind of shape her face here, but like, who cares? Her face is perfect the way it is, so why do any changes? The other thing you can do is just be like, okay, well, maybe I just did too much. So I was really trying to be more subtle, and what if it was just 20%? And so look at the 20% effect. And maybe that actually is better. Look at 40% effect. And maybe that 40% effect is better, but was that 100%? It was like no good because it wasn't actually adding to the photo. It was kind of distracting from being obviously painted. So I like that a lot. Add this. Okay, I think that's what we're gonna do. If I do this, that isn't, it really isn't helping her, but I really want it to help her. So maybe instead of a curves layer, maybe we do this, and we do a saturation layer, and we take the, it doesn't look like her face. Oh no, I don't, I'm adding saturation, and for some reason it looks better. I was gonna try to take it down. -2. All right. All right, we're getting there now. Yeah, it kind of patched that area that looked white up there, and then it brought a little bit of attention to her eyes because there might have been just a little bit too much light and not enough attention on her nose. All right, so now we're getting there. And then so we got rid of the hair there. We probably have to get rid of some of the hair here. Now, I'm going to do this the fast way, and we're just going to use the Magic Healing Brush tool rather than the patch tool or the Spot Healing Brush tool. And that one is the one that I believe you have to use. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Okay. So this one should be able where you just draw something and it kind of takes it out. A little bit better than what I do, and so we're just gonna follow these and see if we can take them out without leaving a mark. I don't know if it's gonna get that. It looks like it took out her eyelashes. I don't think that's better. So get the eyelashes back in, and then we'll go in detail, and this one I will have to do it by hand. Get those hairs out of place and get that texture in there where it needs to be. Fantastic. Get all that structure. So the structure is still there. This is the hair that is going to create the most problems, but if I can kind of trace it along that eyelash, I could probably get the eyelash to get in there, get that hair out without making her lose eyelashes. There we go. Gotta make the lines match. Typically you don't have to be perfect by the time you zoom out. You just want to see these lines are cool and then no artifacts. So it's starting to look pretty good. It looks a little light here, and this is missing. The eyelash needs to be showing at least into the next eyelash. There we go. Yeah, that's working. And then here is a hair, another hair. We just keep doing this until we build some eyelash structure that looks real. And that hair should be gone. Yep, for the rest of the hair, we can go back to probably that Spot Healing Brush tool. Get it to be just the size of the hair. And then let's get rid of these guys. Last few blemishes, and the thing is with, sometimes I do like to use the patch tool because it's faster, and then you can really get in there with the detail and just say, hey, this texture, I want this texture, and then it should give you that texture. Auto scroll 300 zoom. Okay, I don't need brush size. All right, so we got the hair out of her face on that side. A little bit too much texture on her cheek here. Let's get rid of some of that texture and the hairs. All right, that's pretty good. It looks like she has a little bit too much like rosiness here. So I'm just gonna kind of blend that a little better and give her more rosiness here. And a little bit less here. Blend that nose out a little bit more. That's pretty good. It looks like something's wrong here. Let's get that to blend. There we go. Now I kind of softened her face up a little bit, which makes it look AI. We don't want that. So I'm just gonna quickly add that back in, whatever I just took out, on the side of her nose. Just a little bit of that texture there should make it look great. And so we want those feelings of realness. So she looks like herself. Very good. Not too soft, but plenty of texture in your face. Still seeing lots of pore structure, some imperfections, and it's getting there. All right, fantastic. We are getting there. It still seems like there's a little bit too much texture down here. Okay, I'm starting. Okay, so this is what I want to see. Is I want to see texture, but I don't want to see just too much texture that it catches my eye. This last hair out and pour. Let's see her nose stuff there. There goes there. And it looks like there's a little bit too much darkness here. All right. It's looking pretty real. Very good. This looks real to me. We can leave this line in or take it out. Let's take it out and leave that little one there. Ooh, she got some mascara flakes. Let's get rid of those. Make sure there's no other ones. eyes are clean, some little mascara flakes there, and a hair that's out of place. Let's get rid of that. Wow, eyes are clean, clear, blue. Get some cracks in here. Oops, want it to look foggy. Start to look clean and crisp. All right, and then her lips. I don't know what the deal is with this. Just a highlight, but it looks weird. And we probably wanted to actually kind of, let's see, Cupid's bow is supposed to go about right here, right? So let's get that in there and get that highlight back in there on the top. Bring it back in. Bring this over. So now we have the Cupid's bow. There we go. Now we got a clean lip. Right, and then we're gonna go in and go ahead and just kind of mess with that lip just a little bit. We just want it to be even. Want it to look relaxed, but just kind of even. And so when I look at her lips, they look like just kind of perfect little bows. Cupid's bows. There we go. And the edge just being very clean. So the lip line is just like very sharp. Just like that. A little sharper here. There we go. And then we're going to pull it back down. While sharpening the line at the same time. So there we go. Got a very sharp edge lip, which most people like. Lip shape, no reason to add too much. Okay, cool. That's good. Before and after with the lips. So I always have a done of 1/6, but it is giving her a little bit more of a pursed lip. Like a soft, kind of small pursed lip. Let's see if I like it better the other way. Because it might even look like she's kind of biting her lip that way, so maybe that's better. Yeah, let's go back. Okay, now I don't like that anymore. So, layer visibility. I'll just try going back in here, and let me just put it back a little bit to normal, and let her look like she is biting her lip. A little bit. Let's just check that now. It looks like she has a fat lip. I think all I'm going to do is clean up this edge, because I think her lip looks fine. There we go. That's it. So it just gives her cleaner lips. That's perfect. So we got the clean lips. And then last thing that we are going to do, looking over on everything. I think we're getting there. Oh, we got some lines on her neck that we just want to get rid of. Nope. Super simple. So I don't want any detail down there getting pulled to her neck. So I'll get that out, and then a couple dark spots, hairs that kind of show up here. Oh, and then her arm has some spots too. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Looking great. I guess that's part of her necklace, so we'll just leave it. Okay, let's get rid of the flyaways that are off the screen or off her body. Fantastic. Great, great, great. Looks good. Let's go to the top. Oh, looks like an eyebrow's out of place. Yeah, we'll just kind of clip it a little bit. Fantastic. A little bit more flyaway hairs up here. Just want to perfect that. Make sure there's nothing distracting from her eyes or her face. Kind of leave a little bit of the hair in the highlights up there so that it does look very real. Meanwhile, getting rid of all the other little tiny details. Her hair's so light you can barely see it, but we can get rid of the flyaway still. All right, looking very good. There's one last little flyaway over here. We want to just get rid of that guy. Amazing. And then I'm going to use the object selection tool. Which should AI auto select her. There we go. It's having a little bit of trouble here. Let's see how close it gets. Great. And then I'm going to do image select inverse. And then I'm going to do a feather, 3 pixels. Just kind of make the edge easy going. And then we're going to do another layer, another curves layer. Okay, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of contrast so that you just kind of get lost in the background a little bit. I don't want the background to be too dark like that, so I'm just going to add most of the contrast over here. So I want the detail in the background, but I want, there, I'm actually taking some of the contrast out. Now maybe I'll add it. I want all my attention to go to her, so it actually looks like a lower contrast background really brings her out. Let's see, higher contrast. Well, no, now I'm kind of, see, now that's bringing the highlight and it's kind of popping her out of the background. So I'm going to go with the higher contrast background. Let's see, I just don't want to lose detail on this wall here. So I might do that, adding the contrast to the background. And then I'm going to add another layer where I kind of vignette this edge over here so that we have some details in here. And probably a little bit over here of a vignette. And then we're going to do a layer, filter, modify, select modify, feather, and I'm going to do 300 pixels here. And then I'm going to do another layer adjustment, curves, and tiny one, and then we're just gonna kind of darken the edge there. And I'm mostly gonna, yeah, there we go. I just want to bring a little bit of texture and color here, just a tiny bit, so it really pops her out. Okay, let's see what we got before, after. So now we're really getting like a nice poppy look, where it brings all the attention straight to her face. That's what I really want. I think this is one's a little bit distracting, so we're gonna get rid of that too. Okay, go back. Probably have to get rid of this hair or add it back in somehow. And then just probably darken this out just on the layer so it looks like it's behind instead of just kind of popping out. Oh no, is it? Oh, because the opacity is only 42%. It's not going to go all the way dark unless I go to this layer. Okay, that's obviously way too much. Doesn't look bad there, but flow of 21%. It's overdoing it. 1% should be fine. Alright, pull back out. And then look at before and after. We should have gotten rid of a pretty distracting piece of hair there. Yeah. So this little messy hair stays there, but we got rid of a pretty distracting hair. And before, after, again, we're not really changing too much. We are just making it a very clear image so that in the thumbnail it just stands out. You kind of get lost and be like, okay, who's that girl? And I think that's it. Oh, you know what I'm going to do is one last little liquefy thing to give her. I'm going to give her like some body enhancements just for fun. Because we can. So we're going to do this body enhancement here. And then, you know. Little stuff you can't really notice unless you really look. So we give her some shape here, a little bit of a petite shape, and then the way this goes. If you imagine her, try to get this hair not to look kinked. Oh, and this hair should not look kinked either. I guess I should also just get like more hair toward the bottom. That looks kind of weird. Okay. This is kind of weird that her dress is splitting in the wrong place. So let's try to get that back toward the middle. So that line follows like this. Okay, cool. Oh, what does that look like? A little strange. Yeah, that's pretty clean. Neck looks good. Sometimes you can actually just move the shoulders down to make the neck look a little longer, like that, and then add a little bit of volume in the hair for fun, just a couple places. But she already has plenty of volume. It looks amazing, I think. All right, cool. So last before and after, make sure we're not going crazy. So yeah, that just gives you a little bit of a body enhancement. And that's just for fun. She's not using this headshot, but she looked fine before, but you know, we're just playing around.